All right. Let's just jump right into this thing because I'm going to have to do this and go. I've only got an hour. I know that sounds ludicrous because that's how it goes. What? I don't know what I'm talking about. But yeah, so apparently we got a scandal. We got a big scandal because apparently, for those of you who don't know, Francis Ngannou and his original coach from France do not get along. I don't really know the I don't know the like the full context of well, I guess I could certainly find out with this phone call, but that's hilarious. That is a person that is in the know right there who's trying to call me. Let me text message him. But yeah, I don't know the full context. I actually do know a couple things. Hold on. I call you in 30. But anyway, so I know some of it had to do with the fact that Francis felt like his trainer was trying to like jump into the spotlight with him. Like he really doesn't like that. Like that's like that's just something that I know rubs Francis wrong. And that situation was is one now where, you know, at least on the Francis side, it seems like he really doesn't trust the good intentions of his former coach. Now that doesn't always, you know, that's not always the case. Like people can leave camps and sometimes it's amicable and other times it's not. And in this case, this is one of those kind of like not super amicable splits. And so apparently the footage that got released apparently a while ago. I haven't even seen it. But I watched it today and I didn't really think it was super definitive either way, but I know Francis felt like they were very picky choosy about what clips they showed, where it was like, all right, well, and there are edits in it. I mean, that's just clear. Like it's not like a, here's the full set of images. You know, it was kind of like, all right, here's some of it, and then here's some of it, and here's some of it. And Francis said that he straight up laughed when he saw it. You know, he laughed because he said that it was very clear that it was, you know, cut to make him look like he was not winning or whatnot. I mean, I'll be honest, what I saw when I watched the footage was both those guys are such killing machines that they to me look like they were going literally 20%. Like that's what I got from it is these guys are going 20%. And you can see their work. I mean, like they're, you know, you can see both of them are excellent strikers, but they're going slow and intentionally slow to where even if one of them was getting the better of the other, I mean, you know what, there are things you can pull from that footage though, you know, like where they're potentially going to have success. Like Francis has I'm trying to think when I've seen him do this. I saw him do it to Stipe, but he has this step in left hook to the body, you know, kind of similar to the one that Stipe did to DC and Francis did to Stipe that is so vicious, man. And you see it even in the sparring footage. But yeah, I think it's hilarious that like, I just think it's hilarious if people, and I realize how stupid this probably sounds from me if you guys have been watching my channel for a long time, because one of the first videos I ever did, like, so the first two videos that I ever did that got a lot of attention, one of them was I did like right when Mike Perry got in that fight in the bar where he knocked out that old guy who had no idea what he was up against. The guy's all, hey, man. And he put his hands on Mike and Mike knocked him out. Someone text messaged me that 5 seconds after it hit the internet. And I just happened to be one of the first guys to get a video up on it. And I got, you know, I don't know, 80, 90,000 views on it. But then the next one was I took a small segment of sparring footage between Gilbert Burns and Kamaru Usman. And I was like, look at this. This is Gilbert Burns dominating Kamaru Usman. Now, okay, did I really think that like that was going to be a huge demonstration of who was likely to win the fight? Of course not. I just knew people would click on it. And, you know, so I did the video framed like, look at Gilbert in this sparring. That was one of the only times where I was just saying shit I didn't really actually believe. It was just kind of like, you know, I just knew that that would be very clickable, like Gilbert Burns dominating Kamaru Usman in sparring. But in reality, unless you see guys really going at it and you see it over a longer period of time, like if you clips, I mean, you can see little things, but especially guys like Francis and Cyril, like when those guys are going full throttle, that is a different universe from them dicking around in the gym and practicing things at 20%. You know what I mean? Francis Eagle FC, dude. Yeah, that is definitely not what is happening. If anybody thinks that Francis wants to be a free agent so he can test free agency with Eagle FC or Bellator, again, like I've been telling everybody what's been going on for months and months and months and months and months. Like, at first no one believed me that he only had one fight left on his. Oh, they wouldn't have let him do that. They wouldn't have let him fight Stipe if he was only going to have one fight left. Oh, he wouldn't. No. Every single thing I've said has ended up being accurate. So why would this be any different? Okay. So like UFC is up against boxing. That's what they're up against. And Francis's ability to, for that to be a really credible threat will be will be determined by the side. I think the only way that becomes not Yankees fan, thank you very much. Where the only way that would become, a really hard, bowl of food to sell to the public would be if he just got completely outclassed on his feet against Cyril, which I think is extraordinarily unlikely. It's just one of those things where like UFC will pay Francis when he KO's gone. If he left heavyweight division, would be trash. Light heavyweight is already trash. I mean, look, like he's still under contract if he wins. There's the champ clause. It's hard to explain. Like if he loses, he's immediately out, right? If he wins, anyway, it's there are scenarios in either direction, which is his last UFC fight. I don't even want that. I want to see him win. I want to see him get paid an enormous amount of money to fight John Jones and also have the UFC co-promote a boxing match against Tyson Fury. Everybody wins, everybody gets paid. That's what I'm just a fan, man. I want to see him fight. I want to see him fight John. I want to see him knock out Cyril. I want to jump hug him afterwards. Hug his whole team. Then I want to see him fight John Jones. I want to see him fight Tyson Fury. Like if there's ever been a person who was built for super fights, it's fucking Francis, dude. Like he is custom built to break the rules. You know what I mean? Like he is a once in a lifetime athlete with once in like maybe ever power in his hands. So like, let's just see what he's got. It's everybody. Like, I mean, I don't know if I'm alone in this, but I would pay, like if I found out my next door neighbor who is actually, I don't really know, but let's just say he's 50 years old and 140 pounds. And my other neighbor across the street who's 51 and 160 pounds, and neither of them have any experience fighting. We're like, look, we've got a serious problem. We're gonna settle it with our hands. Okay, we're gonna get in the backyard and we're gonna bare knuckle it. We're gonna fight until one of us quits or is unconscious. And if you want to watch, it's $100. I'm fucking paying, dude. Like I'm paying. I'm a fan of violence, dude. I can't help it. I would pay to watch two middle-aged dudes who have no experience fighting fight in the backyard. 100%, I would do that. So like, if you're all, hey, you want to see Francis Ngannou fight Tyson Fury under any rule set? I'm like, yeah, I would love to see that. What about John Jones? Fuck yeah, I would love to see that. How about this, that, or the other? It's like, look, if I worked for an organization, like if I worked for the UFC, then I would certainly have a really strong dog in this fight of where Francis ended up. If I worked for, whatever promotions company on the boxing side was potentially going to do a deal, I would have a very, very strong dog in this fight, but I don't. I'm just a fan. I want to see all of it. I want to see it all, son. Justin Sider, Esquire, lawyer for Francis Ngannou. This is your last warning before formal letters are sent in regards to your lawsuit. Sider Inc. versus just. Oh yeah. Ooh, okay. Lawyer for Francis Ngannou. Here, let me double check with his management, who was just calling me fucking 5 seconds ago before we got on this. If Francis's lawyer is filing suit against me, fucking idiot. He's probably watching this right now. Fucking. Oh man, that's fucking hilarious, dude. Like, if you're gonna troll people and say you're someone's lawyer, you should probably fucking learn how to spell lawyer, moron. Um. Anywho, start writing up the countersuit. I'm like, I'm having trouble remembering things. You know, my head hurts. I'm getting headaches. I'm getting this pain behind my eyes, and I can't focus on my work. It's really, really taking away from my ability to be productive because like stupid things have such a negative impact on my ability to function. I think we need to start filing countersuit because ooh, my goodness, I can't remember anything. I just can't remember anything. Um, so yeah. What was the other thing I was going to talk about? Oh yeah, Kamaru Usman, son, fighter of the year. What do you guys think about that? What do you guys think about that? Because I think it's bordering on. I mean, I don't know. Like Francis Ngannou and Kamaru Usman are a very connected duo. You know, Kamaru Usman helped Francis with some wrestling stuff. And I remember hearing about that right before he was going into the Stipe fight and being like, that might have a big impact. I mean, I know he trains it all the time at Extreme Couture, but I mean, you like a lot of that stuff really is like nitpicky technique stuff, you know, where it's like if you have like a freak athlete like that, and it's like, okay, so when you get into that position, when he's got his arms here, you want to take your forearm and push right down. And it's like just little things where, someone says it to you, someone who's an expert, you feel it in like when you practice and you're like, oh shit, you're right. And it's like, I got it. Like, I got it. So like these guys like Kamaru Usman and guys like that are genuine stone experts in their craft. If that's a place that, you are, facing challenges, just having them around a little bit can be incredibly beneficial. You know, fighter of the year is Tyron Woodley. Dude, Tyron Woodley might have made the most fucking money out of any UFC fighter this year. As a matter of fact, let me think about that. Pretty goddamn close. APC 901, thank you very much, sir. What's the difference between a DQ loss and a DQ no contest? A DQ loss counts as an L. A DQ no contest does not. If I am understanding correctly. Francis is just talking about this, the footage that got put out by his former camp of him and Cyril Gahn footage. Sparring. That footage was edited selectively to make him look like he was losing when he wasn't, in fact. And I was just saying, like, I watched that footage and just go, these two guys are both capable of literally trying 5 times harder than they are. Like this is nothing that I'm going to go, like, it tells me nothing about I've already said how I think the fight's going to go. I think I think Francis is going to knock Cyril out, but like, that's based on, other information totally removed from that sparring footage or any sparring footage of both of them. Like I've never seen, anytime I've ever seen Francis sparring, at least in footage, he doesn't look like he's sparring very hard. And like, dude, I remember the very first time that I interviewed Eric Nixick, I asked him about that. I was like, dude, is it hard for you to find sparring partners for Francis? Because like, I don't care if I was 260 pounds. I'd still be scared shitless to be sparring against that guy. And he said, this is one of my favorite lines ever. He's like, I have had to talk to him about breaking his toys. Breaking all his toys. That's so funny, dude. It's so funny. Ramiro, thank you very much, sir. But yeah, Kamaru Usman fighter of the year. I don't think you can really argue with that, dude. Like, let me look this up actually. Kamaru Usman, because I'm pretty sure he fought 3 times in 2021. Yep. Man. 3 wins. And so the Burns fight, I don't know how many pay-per-views that one did, but the Masvidal 2 the Masvidal one sold a ton of pay-per-views, and the Colby one sold a ton of pay-per-views. He made a ton of fucking money in 2021, dude. Good for him, dude. Good for him. Wouldn't that be crazy though if Tyron Woodley made more money than Kamaru? I mean, I don't think that's probably not. That's I mean, I don't. Yeah, I actually just don't have. I only even speculate because I heard that Tyron made $7 million for the first fight. So if he also made $7 million for the second one, if that's true, and he made $14 million. But actually, no, Kamaru would have made more with 3 fights. I think. What did I think about Lewis's performance? I think that I'm a moron for betting against him. As soon as I mean, a guy like that, anybody who's going to get that close to him and stay that close to him, they're in a bad spot because no one can eat a shot from him. No one. So, yeah, I would say that against anyone who's going to be kind of stationary, like if he fights Tai Tuivasa, I would be very, very, very interested in that fight. But it's hard to bet against Derek Lewis in that fight because, Tai Tuivasa gets in those trading matches. You've never seen Derek Lewis like get quickly knocked out, Like when he got knocked out, when he got beat up by Cyril, that was a culmination of a tremendous amount of punishment. Like a tremendous amount of punishment. And he still was kind of like turtling up and just taking it. Where like, like if Tai Tuivasa tries to get in one of those like swinging kind of reckless matches with Derek Lewis, you got to like Lewis there. Because again, I think, the metaphor I've always used for Francis is like if a person is walking on a construction site and like a gigantic crane falls over and falls on a person, like it doesn't matter if the person is Shaq or is, Demetrius Johnson. A fucking crane fell on it. You're done. There's just a certain amount of force that is going to kill any human on earth. And I think Francis, if he hits you with a clean shot, is a crane. Like it doesn't matter. Like there's no fucking human that's going to absorb that. And I actually think Derek Lewis is in the same category. Like you're just not eating a shot from him no matter what. Like doesn't matter who you are, you get hit clean, you're fucking going out. Like they're both cranes. UFC is sabotaging Francis by putting fights no one wants to see on UFC 270, so they don't pay to watch Francis proving he's not a star. No, they're doing what. I mean, first of all, Moreno and Figueiredo are on that fight, and it's in LA. Like, I don't think people realize how popular Moreno is in certain parts of the world and here. But I will say this, is that if you were the UFC and you didn't have a new deal signed with your heavyweight champion and he is positioning himself to potentially leave the organization, would you want to promote the living shit out of him so that he's a bigger star, a bigger draw, especially when he's potentially going to become competition to you right after this fight? Like, it's just common sense. They're not doing anything underhanded in this case. That's just like if Francis signed a 5-fight deal, they would promote the shit out of him, of course. But like Francis isn't doing anything wrong. Again, neither side is doing anything wrong. Like Francis is making a calculated decision. leaving a lot of money on the table now to potentially make a lot more money later. The UFC apparently feels like they've offered as much as they are willing to offer at this point. Things might change if he knocks Cyril out cold and they realize, like, wait, we're really going to lose this guy, because his value, because of the champ clause, like that's the thing that muddies the waters, is like, if he was a true free agent where he wins or loses January 22nd, there's no champ clause. They don't at least have to hold him under contract for a year or whatever it is. Then I believe you would see a very different approach from the UFC. But they think if he loses, his value is it's kind of like, oh, he's a free agent, but he just lost. So whatever. Right. And if he wins, they're like, well, we've got time to figure it out before we actually lose him, So as a matter of fact, I would bet my life that that's what they're thinking, just because it's exactly what I would be thinking. But yeah, I mean, if you don't have a deal in place with them, why would you wait, hang on. Let me just respond to one thing here. Dana White needs to be fired. I mean, look, the only reason I want to respond to that is just because I just want to explain how this works. Dana's never getting fired under any circumstances. There is no scenario under any circumstances where Dana will ever get fired. Technically, I'm sure the board could fire him. They're never going to do that. Dana is the UFC. Like, you have to understand, like the entire reason anybody who's a fan of the sport, anybody who's a fan of the UFC, if you watch the UFC consistently, you can't also really deeply dislike Dana. Like, you can say you disagree with his business practices. You could say that you think that he does X, Y, Z. But if you just have unadulterated dislike for Dana, then you don't understand the movie that you're watching. Like, Dana created the UFC. The reason this sport exists is because of him. Like, he literally sold it to the Fertittas. Like, he's the one who brought it to the Fertittas. He convinced them to put their money in. He ran it when they were losing money all year, every single year, where they were like on the brink of bankruptcy. Like, he's earned the position that he's in. It's just that simple, right? It just is. Shane, thank you very much. If Dustin would have won the belt, would he have been fighter of the year? Seems like that could have competed with Usman. Yeah. Absolutely, he would have competed. I mean, Usman defended the belt 3 times. Would have been, it would have been tough. Hang on. I'm sorry, I have to respond to this again. Lorenzo, better than Dana in your opinion, and what is that opinion based on? I mean, I'm not trying to be a dick. I'm just saying, like, go ahead and put in the comment section what data you are basing that opinion on. And here's what I would say. I have absolutely no idea of the inner workings of the UFC's corporate structure and how that, I mean, I got a little bit of a glimpse of it when I watched Dana ask Hunter Campbell about Izzy's contract in that last press conference, because you got to see them interact, and it was like, oh shit, Dana's the fucking man around there, dude. I mean, not as if you didn't already know that, but you fucking know that, dude. Like, if you really want to see how much, like, who runs that fucking show, go watch that interaction after the last pay-per-view when someone asks him about Israel Adesanya's tweet. Like, it was like Israel Adesanya saying that the Robert Whittaker fight is not actually booked. It's some weird millennial shit, like, on Twitter. He's putting a cap next to it, which means it's a lie. Dana's like, wait, what? And then he, off camera, he asks Hunter Campbell whether or not they have a contract in place for Izzy, and just watch that interaction. If you can read, if you can read the poker table, watch that interaction. Like, Dana's the fucking man, dude. Like, he's just literally like you could just see exactly what it's like to work for him. Like, just make sure you deliver on the things that he wants you to deliver on. He would be a very scary person to disappoint, but it's because he loves this shit so much. Like, this shit, like, it's hard to explain if you've never built a company how much. Like, I know exactly how much UFC means to him. I just do. I just do. If you've ever rolled the dice for real and put it all on the line and tried to build something, it's the reason why they call it, it's a person's baby. It's because that is exactly how it feels. You think he's washed up? How old are you, dude? Like washed up, like how? Again, like this is business. Like he's okay. So in business, this is how Brett Okamoto steals interview tips from Jesse on Fire. That I would actually curious about. How? I mean, I don't even think I necessarily give interview tips, but I would love to hear what you're talking about. But like to say Dana's washed up in business would honestly be like saying Kamaru Usman's washed up in business. Like every single metric that you can base a person's performance on, like the CEO of a company, president, chairman of the board, or like whatever he calls himself. Like, okay, there are just, this is how you measure performance. And if like to say that Dana's washed up would literally be like saying Kamaru Usman's washed up, or saying like John Jones. I think John Jones is a terrible example. Like literally the MVP of the fucking league is washed up. Like Dana not only has had every single metric going this way forever, but he just navigated the pandemic when a business like this that needs events, while every single venue in the world was closed, he somehow navigated the pandemic. Like, do you understand the amount of business acumen and leadership it took to navigate that fucking minefield where you got the government moving against you, you got politics against you, you got all the fucking media people trying to villainize you, and he fucking built Fight Island in Abu Dhabi, dude. Like it's fucking ludicrous. Anybody saying anything negative about Dana at this point is in terms of his ability to build business is fucking out of their mind. As a matter of fact, I didn't even think about the pandemic thing until right now. Just talk about where these things go. More revenue, more users, new countries. There's just every available metric to measure him by is always going in the right direction. And he just navigated the most challenging situation a person could possibly have to deal with in his type of position. And he did it in a way that everyone was betting against him in, and he was right again. Base Apollo, thank you very much. If Izzy beats Whitaker and Cannonier beats Brunson, who I got Izzy versus Cannonier. Izzy. I think the Brunson fight is a lot more interesting. I mean, Cannonier is a very similar matchup to these guys that Izzy's already beat the shit out of. A powerful striker that Izzy will pick apart like a finely tuned scalpel. Be my guess. Apple ID. Hey, Jesse, I resent that track after editing before Christmas. I'm not sure if you missed it, and I didn't want. Oh shit! Yeah, no. Dude, that got lost in my email. Send it to me again, dude. I must have just got a million emails, and then it was Christmas and all that. But yeah, send it again. Let me see. What about Robbie Lawler? No idea what that means. Did I start doing martial arts after I got clean? So just for clarity on that, because we had a misunderstanding about that the other night too. I don't take opioids. Like that's my bugaboo over here. Like I'm not one of these white knuckle 12 steppers. Like I drink every once in a while. I'll take an Adderall and play golf. I microdose something. Well, I mean, I haven't for months, but I have the ability to microdose anytime that I want. I just opioids are the only thing that actually fuck my life up, where they get out of my own control and I get spracked out on them and they're terrible for my life. So those are that. But no, I was doing martial arts well before. Well, actually, you know what? Where I really, really started getting really heavy into them. Actually, it was after the first time. So when I got really serious the first time was right after I quit the first time. And I was off for 5 years. And then the only reason I ever took them again was because I got an infection in my eyeball that literally ate through my cornea. And I was in so much pain that I basically threw a doctor against the wall I mean, not really, but I was like, you need to write me a script right now. Like, I can't even, if anybody's ever had an injury to your eye, like, like a scratch that went through your cornea or like, an actual hole in your eye, then that's the only way you can understand how much it hurts. Oh my God, it hurts so bad, dude. But no. So yeah, like, I mean, so kind of is the answer to that question. He macro dosed when Ngannou killed Steve. Dude, that was a bananas fight. Macro dosed what though? What specifically? Kratom helps immensely. I hope Cejudo returns in 2022. I really do. Like I said in Apple ID. I got your note. I promise I will try to remember to look at it. I have a shitload of stuff going on. Yep, mushrooms will do it. I have lots of those. Yeah, I did the video the other day that I took down. What's kratom like? Should you try it? If you have an opioid addiction that you would rather take something much more healthy, then sure. But if you don't do anything, then no. Yeah, I think Connor and Tony is highly likely, dude. Let me see here. So I did this video that I put up on Christmas that I had to take down, but the two fights that I want to see Triple C get in 2022, I want to see him fight Moreno and Volkanovski, or both. Thank you, Felix. I'm not I think I probably talked about this a couple times, but like 135 would be a clusterfuck if throwing back in there, dude. It's like you got 35, you already have Jan, Aljamain, and TJ, right? Like TJ was the champion, then he got stripped, and then you had Triple C, he's out. Then you had Jan, and now you have Aljamain. You have 3 champions already. You throw Cejudo back in there, who retired with. I mean, like, come on, dude. Like 35 would be a clusterfuck if you throw Triple C back in there. Like, just give the guy, just put him in at 45. Put him in at 45, dude. Only water with kratom. That's right. That's how I do. Connor versus Holloway at 55 is another one of the fights I wanted. I want Francis versus John Jones. I want Francis versus Tyson Fury. I want Yuri Prohaska versus Izzy. I want Derek Lewis against Tai Tuivasa. I want Volkov versus Stipe, because Volkov is vicious. He only lost to Gon, who is a nightmare matchup for him. And Stipe versus Volkov, you get to see. It's like, is Stipe still dangerous? It's crazy to me that they haven't like figured out who he's going to fight yet. Especially if he's saying he wants to fight, like, I mean, show the guy some respect. I mean, I understand Stipe has some kind of personal issue with I can't remember who it was. If it was Sean Shelby or Hunter. I swear someone definitely well in the know told me that he had a personal problem with one of those two. I can't remember which one it was, but nonetheless, dude, he's the UFC heavyweight GOAT, and like, you just got nothing for him, and he's only got a couple years left, if that, I want to see Brunson versus Izzy. Ugly Baby, what's up, dude? Thank you for the $5. USA as not white American champions. Why do Europeans seem to succeed lately in combat sports where white Americans fail? Let me think about that, if that's even accurate. Hang on. So Europeans seem to succeed lately in combat sports where white Americans fail. Let's play the race game for a second and let me look that up. Hang on. All right. So, okay, let's go to bantamweight. Peter Yan. I mean, you got Dillashaw. Dillashaw's American, and Peter Yan. They haven't fought yet. Corey Sandhagen is right there. Peter Yan. I mean, I don't know. You got I guess Jan is Russian, but let's see if that's even a trend. You got Max Holloway, American, Volkanovski, who is from New Zealand, if I'm not mistaken, and Ortega. 2 out of the 3 top guys are white Americans. Lightweight, you got Oliveira, Gaethje, Dustin. Those are the top 3 guys. 2 of them are white Americans. And Colby. Yeah, I think your premise is not accurate. Oops. Okay, so how do I think Wilder and Ngannou's power compares? I would love to find that out when they punch each other in the face. Bryce Mitchell versus Ryan Hall. I don't need to hear that out. I'm fucking in, dude. I am fucking in for that fight. As a matter of fact, are they the same weight class? If they're the same weight class, they got to make that fight, actually. Freddie York, thank you very much. Does Jake Paul prove Chael's theory that boxing isn't real since nobody does it? Well, no. Jake Paul would prove Chael's theory if he beat a really vicious boxer. Like that, I think you got that inverse. Like, because basically what Chael was saying was like, if Conor beat Mayweather, then that would mean that boxing's not even a sport. That, you know, that where they're like, there's not a difference between boxing as a you know, as like a surgical science. I think, if I'm remembering correctly, that's what he was saying, is like that their sport was on the line because if Conor beat Mayweather, who's, you know, their best guy, whatever. But I mean, does anyone seriously think that like there's an MMA fighter of similar size and stature that would have any chance in 100 million years against Canelo in a boxing match? So like, I think Canelo invalidates the entire idea that boxing's not a real thing. He'd fucking annihilate any MMA fighter that tried to fight him in boxing. Colton, I would love for you to do that. I've got plenty of money to do it too. I just don't know what to buy or what to do or what. That's the only reason. Like, I got the budget burning a hole in my pocket. I just didn't like. I don't even want to get into this fucking microphone shit. But yeah, email me, dude. realjesseonfire@gmail. If you're in Texas, you can just come on over to my house. Voicemail. What? Come on. I just went to the dentist and they're like, you have to come back in so I can scan it in your thing. I'm like, are you gone as a defensive? Yeah, Francis is easy work for the first time ever. That is a ludicrous thing to say. Francis is easy work. Wow, that is completely absurd, dude. That is legitimately totally absurd. Wait. You got to wait 2 days before you do the sub. Who are we talking to? Red Dead, thank you very much. Hang on, let me just make sure, because 2 8 milligram subsidy. That's a lot, dude. And I mean, I'm like, man, I got to jump off, but I can't not weigh in on a Suboxone conversation. So Suboxone is a miracle drug for people who are likely to kill themselves on opioids. Like if you're an intravenous heroin user, or like or you're knowingly doing high levels of fentanyl and you're likely to die, switching over to Suboxone, absolutely excellent. If you are on 7 Norcos a day or something, like a just kind of like a, yeah, I mean, you're an addict, but like you're not in any danger of killing yourself. Like you are damn near never getting off fucking Suboxone. And let I can explain to you how you have to do it. And I mean, it is you're going to be on it basically forever, or you're going to have to do some drastic stuff. So it's just like, I totally agree. Someone who's doing heroin or any of that stuff, for sure, Suboxone is absolutely a much better option. As long as your goal isn't to ever actually be totally off of everything and let your brain recover. That's all. Because my problem with it is because they do that on purpose. Like the way that they make it the most fucking addicting thing on earth, where it's like literally next to impossible to get off of. I've heard you're in withdrawal for like 2 months or some shit like that. How could anybody ever fucking get off that? IV user H. Yeah, totally. It's one of those things where like, if you want to get off of it, you're going to end up having to go back onto opioids for a certain period of time to get your body not used to something binding to your receptors for, that has a half-life of fucking 2 years or whatever. It is, yeah, you can long taper, but correct, over years. You definitely do not want to cold turkey subs. What was your dosage? And how long did you down to 1 milligram a day? That's what I did too. 7 Tuesdays is my uncle's wine who passed away. I'll tell you this, to be honest with you, Chris, if you get down to 1 milligram, that's actually, it gets really hard from there. And as long as you're under 2 milligrams, your brain will recover. Like there's a huge dividing line. I saw this study I don't take them at all, but like I saw this study of the difference like in the receptors of like if you're on like 4 milligrams of subs versus 16 is totally irrelevant. Like it completely blocks your ability to feel excited about anything. When you get under 2 milligrams, that changes. You can start to like feel excited and stuff again. And 1 milligram, you're in a pretty good spot. You don't need to be super concerned about it at that level. But I got completely off, and subs are nothing to get off compared to heroin. That's not, sorry, dude. That's just not true. It's just not. And it's just because of how long acting it is. Ask anybody who's, I mean, believe me. Shoot me an email then, authentic truth. I've heard, I don't have any experience with methadone. I've heard it's horrendous. Yeah, Suboxone's awful. Like I've heard, like I know this girl who, you know, she's like me. She's been off, really, really long time, and like she's actually a counselor. She's a smoke show too, and she told me that she got like something happened where she got arrested. I can't even imagine this girl in jail. She has like a doctorate and all this shit. Anyway, but so she got forced into a cold turkey off Suboxone situation, and she said she was in withdrawal for 3 months. Fucking imagine that, dude. It's unfathomable. It's like the only way it could even happen is if you got forced into it, like you were kidnapped almost. Like there's no one who could fucking withstand that. Congratulations, Adam. No news on Fabia. Francis is definitely not going to lose on purpose, dude. Have you guys been watching his training footage, dude? He's going balls to the wall. He is training hard. I don't know anything about benzos. My little brother is a drug counselor, and he's told me that benzos are horrendous to get off of for people. Sawbuck, shoot me an email. Here. There. The scandal was just that Francis' old team put out a bunch of put out sparring footage that he said was edited together to make him look bad, and was not a true representation. Mike Tyson and Logan Paul, dude. On paper, Tyson should smash him. Tyson just put out a clip of him, like doing the and he is significantly slower than he used to be. And I was like, oh man, oh God, the idea of Logan Paul beating Mike Tyson, if that happened, is just so horrifying that. Ugh. France didn't say anything about Gone. That's the thing. I know this. As a matter of fact, actually, I got to jump off here because I got to call people on Francis' team. But yeah, Colton, you sent me an email. Okay, I'll check it out. But yeah, all France just said he just like him and Cyril didn't really know each other very well. And like that thing when he walked past Cyril and kind of big leagued him, that wasn't because of Cyril, it's because his coach was right there. His old coach that he has a problem with. That I know for 100% sure. Absolutely, like 100% for sure. That's why. He wasn't trying to big league Cyril. He was big leaguing or not even big league. He's got a problem with his fucking coach. His coach was right there. I do not collect UFC cards, no. I will tell you this though, every single time that I've going into every single fight, I've always said, I'm like, Francis is going to decapitate this fucking guy. Like no one can withstand his power every step of the way. Every fucking step of the way, people were like, he's going to lose this time. Are you kidding me, dude? He's got like from when he beat Kane. I mean, I was a believer all the way up to the first Stipe fight, but from when he beat Kane, I was like, he's back, dude. Look at his face. Every fight after that, I was like, he's going to win. He's going to annihilate this guy. He's going to win. He's going to win. He's going to win. And every single time people were all, oh, geez, man. He's so sloppy. He's so sloppy. I'm like, Jesus. You understand that just like, okay, if you think that just like you see a person who moves like Canelo on their feet, like boom, boom, and then another guy who kind of wings things looking crazy. If you think that one striker is better than another just because they do that, like this isn't boxing, dude. The only thing, like some people throw from these angles because people are not used to seeing them. Do you see the shot that he knocked fucking Stipe down with? Like, look at the angle he threw that punch from. It's like, I think if I'm not, was that a left or a right? It was like almost like it wasn't even like it was like a womb. Like it was like the weirdest, but it came right across. And it's like a guy who throws like this, you see the punches come from the same angles every single time. They're predictable. Guys like Francis, the fact that they don't strike like that is a tremendous advantage for him because it does not matter what he hits you with. If he hits you, you're fucking going to sleep, dude. It is that simple. Like, it's just that simple. That's why Nate Diaz lands so much shit. He's like a Gumby. It's like, woo. It's like you can't fucking prepare for it. It was a left jab, but it was like a weird one, right? Like he's like moving in, like it wasn't like a jab, it wasn't like this. It was like it was like a moving in, like weird step in, and he hit him right across, and Stipe didn't see it coming. That's like the whole point. He didn't see it coming. So it's like, I just think that, like, people have this vision of how Francis fights as just like the Rosenstruck fight, like it's just like the Rosenstruck fight which is a 15-second fight, dude. you know? And yeah, I mean, like, maybe those, maybe those strikes didn't look super crisp to people, but he knocked the dude snoring unconscious inside of 1 second from when he started walking towards, like walking forward. It's like, let's look that up real quick. Francis Stipe. No. I'm not talking about the knockout. I'm not talking about the knockout. You guys are saying that the check, the one that he knocked him out with is a check leg hook. I'm talking about the one he knocked him down with, like the one that he knocked him down with in the first round. That's what I was talking about. Hang on. Here, we can watch this together. Talking about the one he knocked him down with. God, he's such an animal, dude. It's like right here. In a second. That one. Okay, so it was like a weird cross. Like that's the one I was talking about. It's like a cross from his hip, dude. Oh. Boop. Oh. Dude. Now let me actually rewind because I just realized I was seeing this backwards when I was on there. So I was like, oh no, it was a jab. It was I mean, I don't even know what you call it. It was like a step in, like, because that's what I was saying. It wasn't a jab. It was like he was stepping forward and like through a, you know. Stipe has a higher fight IQ than people might think. He's the heavyweight GOAT, dude. Anybody who thinks that his fight IQ is anything less than one of the best ever, then they just don't understand what they were watching. Who would I think would win between Tyson and Holyfield in their primes? Like if they fought instead of Tyson going to prison? Ooh, man, I don't know, dude. Like Tyson lost the Buster Douglas fight. Go watch the next two fights of his. When he was mad, like he was mad that he had lost and he came back after training. Oh, man, he looked ruthless. It's really unfortunate that he didn't get that fight didn't happen. But oh shit. Okay, I gotta jump. We got jiu-jitsu here in 40 minutes, and I gotta call my dude. Love you guys. Gotta jump later.